Back at it, dude.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. No Wes. Again. Because Wes decided to speed. He was pulling Tokyo Drift on the way fucking to here, and apparently got pulled over.
Yeah, I got pulled over before he could really even start to really speed. That motherfucker got pulled over in
how
town.
you get pulled over going 44?
I didn't even realize cops pulled you over going
I
44
feel like
and
that's
30.
a waste of time.
That dude must be trying to hit quotas or something.
Yeah, they're trying to make up for the quarantine,
Mhm.
the lack of tickets.
They're like, we're nailing every motherfucker right now.
I actually heard, I read an article that was saying that the Jackson County police was experiencing like a loss of like $1 million or like $1.5 million, somewhere in there, because the lack of people driving, so the lack of tickets.
Damn, so that would make sense then.
So maybe they're out there trying to like recoup some losses.
Because I know typically if he's going 44 and a 30, that's almost 20 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah, he did say he was probably going like 50 though.
Okay.
So
that is
he was probably going like 55.
Yeah. So if he said
he
was
might
going
have
50,
he might have dropped it to a 44 to like cut him a break.
Yeah.
Because I think 45, if you're going 15 miles over the speed limit, I think it jumps to another tier.
Yeah, and
So they probably cut him a deal.
it's like every 15 miles or something. And I know like 40 miles is a felony.
Yeah, if you're 40 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah, if you're 40 miles over the speed limit, it's a felony. It's like reckless driving too. You get slapped with all kinds of shit.
I got pulled over doing 7 miles over the speed limit in Ashland.
That's a thing?
Yeah. I was going 27 in a 20.
No way.
Legitimately. Like, that's what it said on the
Did
ticket.
you get a ticket too?
Yeah, I got a ticket. It was like $130 or some shit.
No shit.
I was so pissed. I was in college
7
too.
miles.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was
Fucking
I
Ashland.
was so pissed.
Ashland, dude.
I think I've been pulled over like 15 times in Ashland. Yeah, because when I was going to school there, I got pulled over all the time.
Probably
Because I had a little red car
Yeah.
that had California plates when I was going to school there. I was
you're
like,
big as fuck.
well, it wasn't even that big, but I was just in a red car that drew a lot of attention and had California plates. I got pulled over so many times, and like they were like legitimately bullshit reasons of getting pulled over.
Yeah.
Like I got pulled over one night driving through downtown because I was driving from my buddy's house to my house, and it was like maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, and he pulled me over, and he's like, "Your taillight's out." And like I was like, no, it's definitely not, because I'd been pulled over 2 weeks before for my taillight, and that time it was legitimately out. So I switched it, and so I replaced it. So I knew it wasn't out. And then he's like asking me all these, have you been drinking? Like, where are you coming from? Kind of thing, like trying to catch me in a DUI basically.
Yeah.
But I wasn't drinking. I was like, just coming from buddy's house, going home. He's like, all right. He's like, go get that taillight checked. I got home, I looked, and I was like, it works perfectly.
What a fucking douchebag.
Just trying to catch me, man.
Dude, it's so weird. Like every county is so different. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
I don't know why Ashland cops would be so.
Well, they're just trying. It's a college town. They're just trying to, they're trying to catch some college kids doing stupid shit. And I'm sure that works normally. I'm sure he catches some dude that's been drinking a couple beers at his buddy's house, and
Well, dude, I went to a huge party in Corvallis. It was like Halloween of 2017, I think. And we went to this was the biggest party I had ever been to in my entire life, house party.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like shoulder to shoulder throughout the entire house.
Yeah.
Downstairs there was a big fat DJ, and everyone's getting real sweaty.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It was nuts. But
It's
anyways,
cool, but sometimes it's like if you're not drunk enough,
yeah.
like
Well,
that's
and the problem is
super uncomfortable.
You're sweating so much that like you have to continually drink, or you're just like sweating the alcohol out. Which I did not have a problem that night with drinking. But anyways,
That was a challenge accepted, right?
oh dude, I knew the fact that we were traveling somewhere to go to a party meant I had to get
You have to black out.
I have to, and I did.
I saw a funny
did a
TikTok
little
about that. Actually, some dude was like, he's talking to his mom. He's like, so about this get together tomorrow. Is this like what's going on? And he's like, she's just like, we're having some friends over and we're gonna have some drinks. He's like, are we gonna drink? She's like, what does that mean? He's like, are we blacking out or what?
And she was like, God damn,
you have an issue.
Dude, have you watched his TikToks?
No,
they're
that's the only
all
one I've
funny.
seen.
His mom rips him a new one.
I just thought that was hilarious. Like, are we blacking out?
Yeah, are we blacking out?
Because that's how you were. It's like, oh, we're going to this party.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're blacking.
Oh,
out.
we're drinking. Dude, I literally ask that question like anytime there's a get together. I'm like, are we drink? Like, are we?
Like, what kind of drinking is going on?
Is this
like, what level are we going to be at? Are we going to be at like a 2 or are we going to a 10?
I'm just trying
to
to have
getting arrested tonight or what's going on?
I'm just trying to have my ducks in a row so I know what's going on.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than when you're at like a party and you're drinking and you're the only one that's going hard.
Yeah, you can't. Well, it's really hard to. That's hard to do for me. Like
to be the only one going hard.
Yeah, because like I'm a vibe chaser.
Yeah.
So I totally chase. I just like vibe with the energy in the room.
Play off everyone's
exactly.
emotions.
So if everyone's going hard, there's no reason I shouldn't be going hard.
Dude, that makes me think. So my buddy Garrett got married maybe 2 years ago, and we went to Tahoe for the bachelor party, and I played rugby with him back in college, and so like half the bachelor, it was probably like 25 guys at the bachelor party. Like it was big. We rented this massive house in Tahoe.
It was pretty big.
It was like a massive mansion. Everyone had a room kind of thing, and half of the guests were from the rugby team in college, and we drank back in the day. Drank like team blackout.
Captain of team blackout.
Captain of team blackout back in the day. So like we party, and then the other half were like his high school buddies that he like grew up with, and like they didn't see that side of him, you know? So they didn't see that party. So first day, we're all blacked out. We're all in costumes, just blacked out. Second day, going to a gun range, party bus, free alcohol, all blacked out. And then that half of the bachelor party stopped hanging out with us.
Really?
They stopped. They're like, you guys go too hard. So it was like that exact situation.
Weak.
Like they were at like 3s, and then we were at like fucking 11s.
Dude,
they were just like, we can't be around this.
Well, you know what? You gotta have a good mix of friends that are like between that. You know, you have like your friends that are hard. Like you have your Wesses, your people who no matter what go fucking hard.
Yeah, every day.
No matter what time of the day, no matter when it is, they just go hard.
Could be 2 in the afternoon.
2 in the afternoon.
He's taking shots. No chaser.
No drinking out the bottle. And then you have your friends who are like more chill, who kind of just like casually drink. Yeah. You know, and then you have your friends who don't drink at all.
Keep you out of jail.
Yeah. But I don't really like to just mellow. Like, usually if I drink, I'm trying to get smashed.
Yeah. I have a hard time like justifying the drinking if I'm just like chilling. Like if we're watching a movie or something. So
unless it's like a mixed drink, like tequila sunrise or something like that. Like unless you're drinking like some mixed drink with like your dinner, sometimes that's really nice. Yeah. But like chances are you're not gonna
special occasions, I guess, like birthday or like you're going out on a date night or some shit.
Have a beer or something. But
I'm not a big fan of just I could use a beer tonight.
I was. I when I was working at Master Brand,
you chill out with a 6-pack and
I would drink Hurricanes.
Okay. Some high alcohol content ones.
Yeah. Hurricanes and what are the high velocities or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
That malt liquor, them cheap ass
shit, dude. Okay.
So I would drink
keeping it it on the poor side.
I would drink 2 tall cans like every day.
See, that's disgusting. Malt liquor, you can't just drink malt liquor and chill, dude.
Well, I would get fucked up, dude. I would drink 2 of those tall cans and be like fucked. Like I would be drunk. And I started doing it every night, and Kaya,
because like you got a problem.
Kaya would be like, "Dude, are you doing okay? Like you're drinking a lot.
Are you mentally all right?"
I'm like, I don't know. I think so.
Now that you mention it, I feel kind of shitty. So thanks for bringing that up.
Now that you mention that,
thanks for shaming me with my 211s.
Dude, those things
are my Mad Dog 2020s.
I've never had Mad Dog 2020
because it's a little old.
My dad used to drink.
It's like
Mad
Dog that makes me feel old. Thank you for that. Like when I was in high school, Mad Dog 2020 was like the shit. I never really liked it though.
You're 33?
But it was cheap as hell. Yeah. There was like a period of time where it was like Mad Dog and 211 were like the thing.
I know.
And now they got all these White Claws and shit. They didn't have White Claw back in the day.
What is Mad Dog? Is that like a seltzer?
It's like a malt liquor.
Oh, it's a malt liquor.
Yeah, it's like a. I would say it's more like a Four Loko.
Sugary.
Yeah, it doesn't taste good though.
It doesn't.
No, I mean
Four Locos
don't taste good either. Well, maybe now I haven't had like the new Four Locos.
Last time I had a Four Loko was a couple of years ago, and it was like at a bonfire. It was like a peach one, and they're super sugary.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It makes it really hard to drink.
Think they're more sugary now because they redid the formula. Because I remember when they first came out,
heart attacks and shit.
It was like speed mixed with fucking alcohol, like 20% almost. And
it was literally like
you could drink one. Like I could drink one of those and be
blitzed.
pretty messed up. Yeah. And it was like $2.
Oh yeah, dude, they're mad cheap. And now they're like they slang them like bangs, dude. You just pick a flavor and get
Bang
fucked.
just needs to do that. Bang needs to come out with an alcohol version.
Dude, that would be fucking
That's how they pivot and like
get away from trying to
they can
debate
stay
between
in fitness, bro. But that's their pivot right there. That's the move because they're already part of that party. Like all their people are EDM, partiers.
So you might as well just
boom,
make it. Dude, that's a big move.
Big waves, bro.
I'm thinking they should.
I'll take a royalty cut from that, Mr. Bang CEO or
Mr.
whatever.
Bang.
Isn't
Mr.
that what his
CEO
Instagram
Bang.
is? Mr. Bang CEO or
I hate that if that is his Instagram
I think
handle.
it is.
Imagine if your Instagram handle was CEO of BLASTHOUSE James.
BLASTHOUSE CEO.
That's it.
That's it.
No one knows your actual name.
There's speaking of the CrossFit CEO, Greg Glassman, his Twitter is CrossFit CEO.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah.
Isn't there a bunch of stuff going on with him right now?
Yeah, so he's fucked.
He's digging himself a pretty big hole.
So did you hear about that?
So I've been seeing a ton of stuff from big time brands like Rogue and FitAid regarding the CrossFit stuff, but I haven't looked a lot into it. I've just been seeing a ton of stuff on my timeline.
It's bangenergy.ceo.
Nice, dude.
Guess what pops up underneath his name?
What?
Bang Bros.
Really?
Bang Bros got that check mark too.
Bang Bros has an Instagram?
Yeah, apparently.
That's pretty gangster. I'm about to hit
4.8 million followers.
Damn, that's a lot of people that like porn. That's a lot of people that like Bang Bros. I bet they're weird.
Imagine Bang Bros CEO.
That dude
He probably looks like the Bang CEO, honestly.
Probably looks like Johnny Sins.
They probably are the same fucking person.
I could see that.
Anyway, Greg Glassman. Yeah, so all those CrossFitters, like Rich Froning, like Sarah Sigmundsdottir, Katrin Davidsdottir, like all these massive CrossFitters, like top 5. Rich Froning's like the biggest CrossFitter of all time.
Yeah.
Like he's the most famous person in CrossFit. Basically disowned CrossFit like 2 days ago.
Wow.
Or over the weekend, I guess. Sunday. I think Sunday is when it was happening. Because Greg Glassman came out and he responded to a tweet that it's one of the health institutes. One of the health institutes tweeted out that racism is a public health issue, right? Like they were talking about modeling an outcome to, I believe they were talking about modeling out an outcome to racism, basically, because racism is a public health issue. That was their big thing, and so he responded to it. All the tweet said was Floyd 19, and then he went off on another one and like elaborating a little bit, but it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And like just instantly like hate, like you're racist, like I'm so disappointed by CrossFit, like just like blah 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 blah, like thousands and thousands of responses, and it instantly pissed off all the. And like it's a hot button topic right now. BLM, all that whole thing. It's a massive topic, and like instantly everyone was triggered, and like it's just it's a tough time to be a racist. Like if you're a racist dude, like you're public enemy number 1 right now. So
and
he immediately was a target.
It's really hard because even if you're not racist and like. the world right now is so crazy with everything that's going on with the whole BLM movement and everything like that, which isn't a new movement. It's been a movement for a long time.
I feel like every couple of years it pops up again. It's like
I remember
after
being
the
in high
Ferguson
school.
riots.
Yeah.
The Ferguson riots, like 2015, I want to say.
Yeah.
That was like huge, and that was a huge BLM movement.
Yeah.
But yeah, like today, like it's the temperature of like the U.S. If you do not 100% agree with the BLM movement, you are instantly like not listened to.
Yeah.
So and that's like they're trying to get rid of all the racist people, but the problem is that some people are getting lumped in with that. You know, just because they don't fully support the BLM movement. Well, and it's whether that's good or bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a really hard time on social media because like I'm on Facebook scrolling through Facebook and I'm literally watching as like people I know who've been friends with other people for years are now completely against each other.
Oh yeah, like the divide on Facebook is just like
it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. And I'm like, you guys have been friends for how long, and you're gonna let a disagreement, and not even a racial disagreement, like that's the whole thing that is frustrating to me. Is like I have you know people on Facebook that they're like, you're fucking racist if you don't believe in this and that. Like, let's riot, let's loot. And I'm like, how does that make me racist? Like, I'm racist because I don't want to destroy public property.
Well, that's the problem. Is that there's a lot of people that are like against racism that are also against the looting, and they're like all for like a peaceful protest, and they're up there, and fuck yeah, more power to them. But the problem is that there's a segment of the population that is like right below them that is all for like getting rid of the racism and stuff, but then they're wanting to do it with like looting, and they like
with violence,
like fuck the police, like the police are terrible, like just anarchy, and they're the more vocal majority, and maybe they're not the more vocal majority, but they're what's getting picked up or what the media is portraying, and so you see more of that. Even though I'm sure the peaceful like fuck racism crowd is a much larger community. You know?
Yeah, and you know, and it, like even around here, like it's a small town, man. We got a lot of country folk around here that open carry, and a lot of shit's just been going on, and I don't know. It's just crazy to me, and the whole white privilege thing and all that stuff is.
I mean, it's just there's a lot of negativity out there right now.
Yeah,
and the issue I see is like there's nobody's. I haven't seen anybody like suggest anything. Like there's no solution or like this is what we can do to make it better. I just see people, you know, yelling at other people. Like there's nobody's actually talking or listening to each other. Like there's just like outrage. Like the slightest misstep in like your wording, and you're fucked. Like fucked. Personally, Greg Glassman, that obviously stupid fucking tweet, dude.
The Floyd 19.
The Floyd 19 thing.
Now, so he elaborated on that. You said, right?
So what his whole thing was, he came out with an apology, I think yesterday, when he retired. So he stepped down completely. He's no longer associated with CrossFit, which he had to because Reebok pulled out of their sponsorship. Rogue pulled out. All these athletes said they weren't. All these athletes said they weren't competing in the CrossFit Games. Like CrossFit was nosedive, like engine failure, like headed to the ground. And so he retired yesterday. Basically, in he elaborated on kind of what he did in the initial responses to the tweet. His whole thing is he never believed the COVID-19 thing was like, he believed the modeling was flawed and it was terrible, like the quarantine was bad and all this shit. And basically, he was trying to make a point that this health institute that like created this this modeling of the solution to COVID and whatnot was also now creating a modeling for the racism and like and solving racism. And he was basically saying like, you guys fucked up the COVID-19 model. Like now you're gonna get the racism model and you're gonna fuck that up too. I don't think he meant it in a racist way, but either way, you can't tweet that out, dude. Like if you're gonna tweet something like that out, you have to be concise. You have to get right to the point. Like, you have to make it a super clear tweet. Like, you can't make something that's super poorly worded and be like, oh, I didn't mean it in a racist way. It's like, well, it doesn't. It's hard to know how you meant it, dude. Like,
if you're not able to articulate your thoughts in a well constructed manner, then you need to just chill the fuck out.
Yeah, especially if you're the CEO of a company, and we're in the middle of this, time period where like you can't be saying stuff like that. Like, people are getting, like, they're out for blood right now. Like, if you're even slightly racist, goodbye.
What he should have done to better elaborate what he meant by the Floyd 19 thing is that he should have made a video right away.
Yeah, he should have,
instead of a tweet.
Yeah, he should have made a video response. But even then, I mean, like, depends how the media wants to portray it. Like, they could cut, they could chop it up. But either way, you can't do it. Like, the tweet was wrong. The tweet was bad. I don't think he meant it in a racist way, but it did not come off.
Regardless,
it did not come off good either way. And so, there's no room for error right now. Like, you may be completely unbiased and non-racist, but if you even slightly hint at racism, they're gonna come for you.
Yeah.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, I think everyone's so like focused on getting all the bad people out of powers of position that even if you're slightly off center, they're coming for you.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because, dude,
it's kind of like
I don't even know what to say about it all because it's so much.
Yeah,
like the BLM thing, with what happened with George Floyd, like that.
Dude, that's super fucked up. He should never have been.
What's crazy?
He shouldn't die. Like, there's no way he should die. You can't justify it. Like, you could say all the shit about him being like he had this history and all this. Yeah. Like,
everyone has a history.
That doesn't matter. He still doesn't. It didn't warrant him dying.
Yeah,
right?
it's. I remember watching that video before it got blown the fuck up.
I still haven't watched it. I don't really want to watch it. Like,
I watched it before all this stuff. Like, I watched it when it like a day after it had happened, and it was like graphic content, blah blah blah. I was like, well, of course I'm going to view it. Why not? Yeah. And I watched it, and I was like, whoa, that's like, this is pretty fucked up, dude.
Did you watch all 8 minutes or whatever?
I watched. So the only part of I don't know if there's another part of the video, but I watched. It was a pretty long video.
I know it's like an 8.5 minute.
It's a long video, and you have all these people recording these cops, and this one dude is like kneeling on George's neck.
Yeah. And
George is like squirming, like saying he can't breathe, and he's like, he's like losing his voice as he's talking.
Yeah. Because
he can't fucking breathe. And then towards the end of the video, he just like closes his eyes, just dies. Like, that's it. And then they just fucking throw him around and put him onto a gurney thing and put him in the ambulance.
Yeah. It's fucked.
It is really
it's a totally fucked situation.
But I watched that and I was like, oh God, this is.
I probably should watch it because I'm curious, like, because it doesn't take 8 minutes to choke somebody out.
No.
Like, you can choke somebody out in like 20 seconds.
So.
30 seconds.
God, this is such a hard subject to talk about because there's so many things you can say that people are going to take is
yeah, and we don't.
Fucked.
We're on the side of like that was fucked up. Like, he should never have died. Well,
and in terms of BLM and all that stuff, dude, I don't know how many damn black family members I have. Yeah. I got a couple black uncles and black and Samoan cousins, like, because I'm half Samoan. I'm like, so like I feel it. Yeah. I feel you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Obviously, I'm half white too, but dude, I totally get it. You know, and but it is hard with that video because like he dies because he said that he can't breathe, but there's like all these like weird little tiny things that like don't really add up, but like he also died, so like they have to add up.
There's a lot of weird shit going on with that, like. Cause especially with like the autopsies that came out, like they were saying like he didn't die from asphyxiation, like he died from something else, and they were saying like he was high on fentanyl and all this other. It's like, regardless, he died.
Yeah, none of that matters.
He got stopped by a cop, right? He should never have, been in that situation.
Well, apparently the reason why the reason why that whole thing happened was because he had tried to pay with a counterfeit 20. Yeah. Just a 20.
I don't understand. I don't get how he ended up on the ground.
I don't know if he
was he. Like,
I don't know.
That's the problem. Is like nobody shows that video. Like we only see the video of him on top. Like, and that's not defending the cop's action, but like what led to him being on the ground? Like where are the body cams and shit? Like where's all the body cams?
That's some bullshit for sure. Like, where are their body? Like, all cops have body cams, right?
How come we haven't seen that footage?
Yeah. I mean, was it just not going to be released?
I don't know. Maybe it's because it's an active investigation, but regardless, like either way, there's no way you justify like him being on the ground like that and dying in that situation.
And obviously, whatever happened had to do with the cop because that cop's going to prison now, I guess.
I don't know. I think he's been charged.
He has been
and
charged.
The other cops have been charged too. The other 3, which is crazy situation too, man. Because like 2 of those cops, it was like their first week on the job. Like imagine that. It's like that's like training day, dude. That's like the movie Training Day right there. Like you are a good cop, maybe you're a good dude. 1 week on, you're like, hell yeah, I just made it through the academy. And then you're hooked up with this dude, and you think he's a legit cop, and he's really a piece of shit. He's like got 17 charges against him, like complaints against him, like. And then 3 days into your week, he kills some dude. And you're just sitting there like, what the hell do I do? Because I think there's an Asian cop. One of the Asian cop is like, you should flip him over. Like, I guess in the video you can hear him say like, I don't know if we should be doing this. You should flip him over. And like, he doesn't.
Well, and then there's other videos.
I don't know, it's weird, dude.
There's other videos of cops detaining suspects and stuff where their knee is on their neck. And like one video was cool. They're like, you're on his neck, blah, 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 you're on his neck. And the cop who's helping detain him pulls the dude's knee off of the dude's neck.
Yeah.
Like he's like...
Yeah. Like you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, like, come on, dude. Especially with everything going on right now. Like, if that's just procedure, if that's just a thing of what you guys do, that's one thing. But, like, I don't know.
So I know...
Dude,
I know when I was working in security, we had to do, like, these courses and... for handcuffs, because we had to carry handcuffs because we weren't allowed to carry weapons, but we had to carry handcuffs because sometimes we did have to deal with some violent people that were like, couldn't be detained.
Yeah.
Or like didn't want to be detained, like if they did something wrong. And so like one of the courses, like we were taught this technique of how to get somebody to the ground and handcuff them if they were resisting. And in that one, it's like it's a takedown, basically, if they like were to throw a punch at you or something, and then like you slip under, put them in a little hold and then take them to the ground. But in that, we were told like put our knees like right in the middle of their back. Like we weren't not on the neck, obviously. So, but like, I don't know, some of those situations, like I could see like if the dude's big and he's squirming, like maybe you slide and it moves to the neck, but either way, you course correct, and like you're not going to keep it on the neck.
Yeah, like that's like a
the only reason power move. The only reason you would keep it on the neck is if you're pissed off and like you're like fuck this dude, like and which you would hope that a cop is not gonna have that thought process, but emotions take over, and
there's so much going on. There's so much going on being in the line of duty, and what really sucks is there's a few bad apples out there that have caused the majority to just hate police officers. And it sucks because I'm friends with a lot of police officers and a lot of corrections officers a lot of people who wear the badge proudly. Yeah. Who
are great fucking people.
Who are great people. People who took that job and took the oath to protect, to serve and protect, and they would never do something like that.
Well,
it sucks because you just see these people just get all of them just generalized.
Yeah,
and they put them all together and say "fuck you all."
Yeah, and the issue isn't like it's not necessarily that they're bad apples. It's the fact that there's nobody like enforcing it, and like there's some corruption up there, like where guys are like getting like the dude had 17 complaints against him. Like, why is he training other officers? You know what I mean?
Also, why is he still?
Why does he still have a badge? And why is he training other officers? So there needs to be some sort of oversight there, because like you said, like there's a lot of great, like I would say 99.9% of cops are good people.
Oh, I totally agree. I know.
I've met a couple
Yeah.
asshole cops that I'm like, oh, you're kind of a dick. But I've also met like more than my fair share of cops who are just awesome people.
Well, and here's what I think is something that's really annoying is for some reason, and it really just comes with having a certain title, whatever it is.
Yeah.
When you're a police officer, you're like not a human anymore. Like people don't like see you as just another dude.
No.
They instantly say, "Oh, he's a cop."
Yeah.
They're all cops. They're people. It's not that you're a shitty cop.
Yeah,
it's that you're a shitty person.
Yeah.
So when you
shitty people become shitty cops.
Exactly.
You know what I
So
mean?
it doesn't matter. Being a cop has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that cops suck. It has everything to do with the fact that that person sucked.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, cops suck. It's people suck. Cops don't suck.
It's
people suck.
So my thing is like, there is like 27 or 260 million people in the U.S. That's a lot of fucking people, dude. Even if 1% of them are shit people, that's a large number. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
That's a large number. That's like 2 million
That is.
people. That's like almost 3 million people.
What did you say? 270?
Let's say 270. 1% of that. That's 2.7 million people. If my math is correct.
27 million people?
It's 27?
Yeah.
You sure?
I think, unless I did.
You might have did 10%.
I'm bad at math. 270 million.
Yeah, it's 2.7 million.
So that's a lot of people.
So that's a lot of shitty people, you know? And I think that's where people need to stop, you know. We're never going to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Like there's always going to be a percentage of people that are just assholes, you know, whether that's circumstantial, whether that's their parents are fucking assholes and raised shitty people, or they're just born shitty people, you know. There's always going to be those people. We're never going to get rid of them. They're in every profession. There's a cashier at Walmart that's an asshole. That's just piece of shit person.
There's doctors that
There's a
kill
doctor
people,
that's there's doctors. There's politicians. There's, you know, there's cab drivers. There's, you know, delivery guys. Like there's shitty people across the board. Every profession has shitty people in it. Like we're never going to get rid of them.
Even like you said, even at 1%,
Yeah.
that's still 2.7
even if we made
million
that
people.
0.5%, it's still a large percentage of people. So it's like we're never going to get rid of all these people. What we just have to do is find a better way of preventing them from being in positions of power.
Yeah, and that's not through destroying public property and
It's not
stealing
through that. Well, that does. The problem is that's not going to make a non-shitty person, or it's not going to make a shitty person become a good person all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's just going to make them more of a shitty person, and then and you're also victimizing some other people. You know what I mean? Like the person that owns that car that you're vandalizing.
Yeah.
Like that person now has to get insurance. Maybe they don't have insurance, and like there's a lot of people that are already hurting from the quarantine, and now you're destroying their business.
Well, and that's what makes me so frustrated is like, dude, like this is a small town, so a lot of these businesses are local businesses, mom and pop shops. Like these people can't survive. Like these people barely get by.
They can't afford to do a full remodel on their business.
What they have, that's all they have, man. It's all they got.
Especially right after the quarantine like this. Like
Yeah,
they're already
dude. If big companies are going bankrupt and going out of business, I could only imagine how mom and pop shops.
I think
are doing
Starbucks just announced today that they were closing like 200 or 300 stores.
Well, Hertz, the rental agency, they filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Which is good for us, but it's crazy, dude. But and so, you know, it's just like when you destroy someone's, like, what do they do to you?
Yeah.
Also, when you're rioting and you're looting because you're believe in something, what's a 60-inch TV? What's stealing a 60-inch TV?
Right.
Proof?
Like I saw.
What are you standing for? Oh, all 60-inch TVs matter. Shut the fuck up.
Well, that's part of the issue too. Is like I was saying earlier, like there's a large percentage of the population that is against racism and doesn't condone the violence and not the violence, but doesn't condone the looting and the rioting and like destroying property. But that's like actually a really small percentage of the population, but it's the one that everyone sees because the media just portrays it. Like the media throws that out there because people are like, oh my God, like it creates outrage, it creates clicks, it creates all this shit. Like they're not going to show the peaceful protests. Like nobody's going to tune into Channel 5 News at 5 o'clock to watch the peaceful protest.
Yeah.
They want to see the looting so they can be like, look at that fucking guy stealing that 60-inch TV.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like
The media is just making it exponentially worse.
To be clear to all of you guys listening or watching on YouTube, I am all for like being vocal about how you feel and standing up for your rights. Fuck, dude, it's literally
and just fuck racism in general.
And fuck racism in general. Like I'm all for it. Anytime you have the ability to stand up for something you believe in, you should take action and you should do it. If you believe in it, you should take a stand. But destroying property, looting, hurting innocent people, hurting people who aren't racist.
It hurts the movement.
Like I watched a video of a girl who owned a gas station, and she's like, I was just protesting with y'all yesterday, and you're going to come destroy my business?
Yeah.
And that's the shit. I'm like, that's the shit. Peaceful protesting is totally different.
Or you just see like the videos of like the random guys just standing on the street, like he knocked out. Like
that's bullshit.
It's
fucking bullshit.
It doesn't help the cause. And I think a big part of the issue is the fact that people have been quarantined for the last 2 months, and people are just pissed. People are fed up. They're angry. And so a lot of people that maybe even don't even necessarily agree with the movement, they just see like the riots and the anger. They're like, oh man, I'm going to get some anger out. You know what I mean? So it just...
Go to the gym.
It just draws them in, you know what I mean? And it's drawing up some shitty people.
It is.
And there's a lot of conspiracy theories about it too, like the fact that like maybe some of these like billionaires are funding like George Soros. Have you heard of him?
I haven't heard of him, but I have heard of the theory that a lot of this shit's being funded.
So George Soros, this is like one of the theories, and George Soros is like a billionaire, like a really, really rich guy, and he hates Trump, and like hates Trump, and he's got billions of dollars. And so the theory is that he's the one he's paying people to like loot and shit, and he's also paying to have these bricks dropped off at random spots throughout, which is super weird. Like, why are there random bricks throughout? Like, my buddy Dom, you know Dom.
Yeah.
He posted a picture. There were just bricks dropped off somewhere. He posted it on Facebook. He's like, what the hell is this doing here? And so the theory is that he's paying to have these bricks dropped off to create chaos and eventually get Trump out of office. I don't know. It's a little out there, but you know, there's crazier things that happen. Like this whole COVID thing is starting to look more and more like a fucking conspiracy since we haven't heard shit about COVID. Like,
it's because the media, dude. The media only wants to show you what they want to show you.
That's the problem, is that there's a lot of people out there that don't actually ingest the full news. They just see headlines, they see tweets, they see pictures, they see videos out of context, and they make these deductions and shit. And that's their view of the news.
Yeah, these people are essentially going off of like a thumbnail.
Yeah, they're seeing the thumbnail, then the clickbait title, and they're like, they're basically on Christian Guzman's channel, like looking at all the, like, oh man, he broke up with Heidi. Like, if you look at like the thumbnail, it's like, what have I done? And the captions like, or in the thumbnail is like him like this, and like Heidi's all pissed. It's like, what have I done? He's like, oh, he broke up. And then you're just like going through there. This is his life as you look at all the different thumbnails. It's like, that's not actually what's happening. It's basically how these people are looking at the news. They're seeing some dude throwing a brick through a window. They're seeing some dude holding a sign that says Black Lives Matter, and they're assuming that it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Or they're seeing, you know, all these out of context images, and like they're not actually looking in. Like, the vast majority of people are not actually looking into what's going on.
What I can really appreciate is the people who are peaceful protesting, who aren't blocking the streets, who are standing up for you know, whatever they believe in, the Black Lives Matter, but who are also doing it to stop. Like, it's more than just ending racism. It's also ending police brutality or trying to control police brutality.
I think that's like, that needs to be like the big one.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's,
and people like that, like, that's fucking fantastic, because like that, I think that there is a lot of police brutality that goes around. I think that a lot of these people, you know, a lot of these shitty people, not shitty cops, but shitty people get a badge and they're like, I now am better than you, regardless of what color skin you are.
And I don't even necessarily know if it's a large number of police brutality.
Yeah. Well, even 1%.
But yeah, even 1% of those, like, because think about how many, like, so there's 270 million people in the U.S. Think about how many police interactions happen on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how many people get pulled over, how many people have cops respond to their house or something. Mm-hmm. Think about how many interactions every single day with the police happen.
Oh, yeah.
And then let's think about the number. And then let's think about maybe there's a large percentage that never get reported, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there needs to just be more oversight, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there needs to be oversight to make sure that this shit like doesn't trying to make sure that this shit doesn't happen.
Well, and what's crazy is
I'm sure even if you put the perfect system in place, it's still going to happen on some level because people are going to slip through the cracks, but we need to try to minimize that possibility.
You know what sucks, dude, is you see these shitty people who are doing shitty things, and you just, like, I can't help but think, like, if they have kids and how their kids are going to be.
And
like,
their kids are going to be just as bad.
You're raising a generation of, you're continuing it.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to continue the cycle of being a piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, and what sucks is a lot of these shitty people don't realize that they fucking suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
well,
like you're saying, like, there's no way that you can fully stop anything because it's going to continue to be bred generation to generation.
There's just too many people. There's just too many people in the world to eliminate all evil. Like, there's no way to do that.
All you can do is just have, like,
just try to
a
make
little
that
bit of structure.
Yeah, you can just try to make that percentage as small as possible, and you can try to make, put things in place that eliminate the possibility. Like, it's not going to be perfect, but you got to try to minimize that.
Nothing can ever be perfect because humans aren't perfect.
Yeah, we're imperfect. Like,
everyone's flawed.
Even the most perfect person
you
know has
something.
They got some stupid fucking flaw. Maybe they fart in their sleep, you know.
Yeah, you know, and it stinks. Bad.
It's bad. Or maybe they got bad breath in the morning. I don't know.
Me, dude. It's disgusting. It's really bad. And then I drink coffee. I'm like, shouldn't have done that. Well, and you know what, dude? And I think that's a cool thing to say, too, because I think a lot of people just forget that people aren't perfect. And I'm not talking about racist fucks and shitty. I'm talking about just human beings.
Yeah, like, just making mistakes. Like, let their emotions get the most of them.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Think of a peaceful protester, how easy it would be to push a peaceful protester over the edge to where they are attacking you or something.
Yeah. You
could do it. It doesn't mean that person didn't deserve to get attacked. You're still being shitty, though.
Or it doesn't mean that person set out with that intention in mind.
Exactly. Like, you know, and that's the thing is, like, everybody's flawed. Everyone is different. Therefore, these people are chasing this imaginary fantasy world where everything is perfect. Nothing ever will be. Well, and people have to understand that. We can only do our best.
I think but it's like what I was saying, like, I think that's the issue is, like, you see all these people, like, that are protesting, but I don't see a whole lot of people offering up solutions, you know? Like, I don't see a lot of viable solutions that people are offering up, you know? And I think there needs to be obviously more dialogue. But right now is, like, it's, like, too early almost to have that dialogue because the wounds are so fresh that, like,
people are
both
outraged.
sides are, like, oh, just ready to attack. So, like, there's no actual discussion occurring. Like, it's very rare to see somebody legitimately have a discussion back and forth. Like, I saw somebody on Facebook the other day, and they were like trying to do that. They were like, "Hey, I'm not trying to say anything like one way or the other, but I'd like to just have a discussion." And they posted a question, and the first comment was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, it's like, that's the issue. That's the problem. The problem is that nobody can voice an opinion right now or voice a discussion topic without being attacked by the other side. And so it's not going to solve shit. We're just going to fucking fight back and forth, and nothing's going to get solved. And then maybe the issue will slowly die out, and then we'll have this issue 3 years from now again.
And that's
because nobody wants to just sit down and actually talk things out.
Yep, and that's the issue, dude. Is like, dude, the lack of communication in the entire world is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, no one communicates with each other. Everyone just spreads misinformation, miscommunicates, isn't very good at communicating. So when they go to try, they say some dumbass shit.
I wonder if that's a huge part of, because I wonder if social media is a huge part of that.
Could
because pretty much, I would say like 75% of communication probably is online now, like through text, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like it's all text. And the problem with text messaging somebody is you don't have tone behind it. Like, so I send you a text message like, what the fuck? It could be, maybe I send it like, what the fuck, dude? And you take it as, oh shit, James is pissed at me. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, you can't deduce how I meant that.
Yeah.
You can just take it off your own emotions and your own feelings at the time. And most of communication now is tweets and Facebook messages and Facebook statuses. And maybe that's part of the reason. Like, people don't know how to communicate now.
Oh yeah, well, like I text back and forth with pretty much all my customers.
Yeah.
All my customers prefer to be texted over called these days. And when I'm texting, obviously I have to be professional. I can't text like how I typically text because I don't know who I'm talking to.
Right.
So you can very easily read my professional text as, oh, this dude's kind of a fucking dickhead, isn't he?
You're cold and like,
yeah,
you're
this guy
right
doesn't care. But really, like, I'm just trying to help you.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know who you are, so I don't know how to gauge how I should speak to you.
Yeah.
Because if I come off too like friendly, you might take that as unprofessional.
Yeah.
And it might stir you away.
Or maybe it's a female client. They're like, he's flirting with me now.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
no, I was just trying to sell you a car.
Yeah. And so it's just like that fine line. And that is the issue, dude, is like we have all this technology and all this social media where everything can be misread or misinterpreted.
There's so much room.
And honestly, really, it all kind of falls back on you. Like, you as a person, like, how do you read things?
Yeah, how do you read that headline?
And then how do you react based off of how you... And that's what really frustrates me is, like, people are reacting based off of how they interpreted what they've seen or read.
Which sometimes maybe takes it to like another level.
And it could not even... That could very well not even be the case at all.
Yeah.
But because you read it like that, you're now throwing a fucking fit because... you're like, well, I read this and I'm just outraged, and that's not what it was supposed to mean.
I think a lot of the issues probably could be solved if these discussions were done in person, or like these conversations were done with like a voice attached to it. You know,
that dude,
there's no humanity when you're talking to somebody through tweet. Like, that's why YouTube comments are the worst comments in the world. Like, people just write the most horrific things on YouTube because there's no humanity attached to it. Like, you're not seeing the person you're talking to. And there's no consequences to what you say.
Oh yeah. It's freedom of speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, you can talk all you want about that guy's mom.
Yep.
And what she did back in high school.
I mean, hey. But yeah, it's just crazy. It is just a crazy world we live in, and it sucks because like I'm glad Kingston's so young right now that he doesn't he's not aware of everything going on, because I would just hate to have to explain that this is the world that he lives in right now. Because I'm fucking kind of ashamed of like the U.S. right now. Not really the U.S. because I personally think, you don't have to hate me for this, but I personally think this is the best fucking country on the planet.
I don't think that's a debate, dude.
You know what I mean?
Like,
on the planet.
I don't think that's a debate. I mean, there are some good countries around, but the amount of freedom that we have on a daily basis, the amount of things, like the opportunities available, you know,
whether the fact we're able to just willy-nilly meet like this and pod and record and stream.
Not even talking about like the racist aspect of things, like if the racism that maybe exists throughout, but I think racism exists in all of these countries, you know. I mean, it's just there's going to be racists all across the board, but all in all, like, we are very blessed to live in the U.S. Like, there's a lot of things that happen in other countries that we are lucky that we don't have to deal with. You know,
not that the U.S. is perfect by any means, but you know what? It's a pretty damn good place to live.
We don't got people on the fucking streets like planting IEDs or shooting fucking rockets down fucking 6th Street. You know, we don't have a culture where, you know, the women aren't allowed to go to school and learn shit
or like, voice opinions.
You know, we don't have like entire cities where people like don't have running water. I mean, we did it in Flint, like I guess.
Yeah, Flint. They had water, but it was
just like
fucked up,
but
shitty water.
But like, we don't have some of these issues, and I think people fail to realize that, like the freedoms that we have. Like, we don't live in China where like the government controls social media. I mean, maybe we do. I don't know.
At least not to our
social media is pretty, but like
it's pretty monitored. But.
Yeah, but we overall have a lot of freedoms.
We do. We get to do whatever we want, say whatever we want, whenever we want.
And regardless of what people say, this is still the best time to live. Regardless of who you are. Like, this is the most accepting time to live. The most opportunities are available. Like,
that's another thing is like these people are like
the most technology is available like than ever before. Like, this is like the best time to live.
Well, and the thing is, dude, is like that's what a lot of people overlook too is, you know, racism fucking sucks. Like it's very, very shitty. It's very unfair. It's bullshit. But you know what? The U.S. has come a long fucking way like with racism and inequality.
And that doesn't mean that it's gone.
No, absolutely
it's definitely still around. I've definitely met some racist ass people.
Oh yeah.
But I would say that it's definitely improved. Even you know, I think I was looking this up the other day. There's like 8% of the 8% of the population is black millionaires.
There you go.
I want to say, I might have read that wrong, but like, you couldn't say that 50 years ago.
No, not at all.
You couldn't say that. I don't even know if you could say that like 30 years ago. But there's a large percentage, like,
I mean, Jesus Christ, we had a black president.
I think there's still.
I mean?
I think there's still way more white millionaires than there are black millionaires. But that number is at least increasing. You know, so, and we should both say, like, I don't know. At least personally, I've never been like the target of like racism. Like,
I've never been. I'm
like
pretty fair.
I don't think I'm qualified to talk about like what it's like to live as a black man or a person of color in the U.S. But just looking at how things have been, like from the 50s to now, or even the 1800s to now, I would say that it's improved. It's not perfect. It's probably nowhere near perfect, but it's definitely, like you were saying, it's better than it was. Like, we're trending upward, I would say. So
I definitely think so. Well, like, it's with everything too, though. Like, racism has gotten better at, you know, it has gotten better.
Yeah.
Everything, like accepting gays, like gay marriage, accepting different sexuality.
Dude, even
that has gotten
10
better.
years ago, you would never see like a gay couple on TV, like in a commercial, like for anything.
I remember being a kid, and it was super weird when, like, not that I thought it was weird, but it was just not.
It just wasn't
normal.
It wasn't what you would see normally.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like normal for you. Like, I didn't know dudes who married dudes. I didn't know none of that. And that's like, I've had a lot of gay friends who are super. I know a buddy of mine, I'm not gonna say his name, but I have a buddy of mine who's gay, and he's dating this other dude. Dude, they're such a great couple. Like, he's a great dude. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But that was not as socially acceptable even 10 years ago.
And it's so weird.
Even 5 years ago, I would say it's made leaps and bounds too.
And that's a huge victory for everyone.
Yeah, it's progressing. We're making progress. Like, but
not disregarding the fact that, once again,
there still needs
people
to be some
still
change.
suck.
But there's people that suck all over the spectrum.
Yeah,
there's assholes that are black. There's assholes that are white. There's assholes that are, you know, from Asia. There's assholes that are from Mexico. There's assholes from every race across the board. Like, we're never going to fully eliminate that, but I think we are doing a good job of minimizing it. I would say the majority of the country is not racist.
I would say so. Yeah.
I think it's safe to say.
I've met a few racist people, and I know a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, I would say I can't name off the top of my head any, like, like I've definitely met some racist people, but like in the last like couple of years, I don't think I can name somebody specifically that was
I
like,
can't.
that guy's for sure racist.
Like that dude hates.
That guy's a
colored
piece of
people.
shit. Like that, I can't think of that.
Mm.
But maybe 15 years ago, I probably could have named like a couple. Probably.
I think it's.
I think the number's disappearing, or maybe they're just doing a better job of hiding.
I don't know. Probably.
I
know. Well, it's dude. Yeah. I know people who are all about like the superior race and stuff like that, who still don't not like black people. You know what I mean? They're just like, well, no, like I know people who are like, who just believe in whatever race they are.
Is the superior race.
Yeah, and I've had conversations with them where they're like, just like you want to see more of your people, I want to see more of my people. And I'm like, you shouldn't like think about it as that way though. But they're not like, they don't see a black person and they're like, I hate you, I'm gonna kill you. They just see it as, I guess that's still racist.
That's still considered racist
because you're considering yourself better.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you're putting yourself above somebody
Yeah,
else. So like,
well, then never mind, they're racist.
Yeah,
they're just not violently
they're not
racist.
violently racist, maybe.
Yeah, it's still shitty. It's
There's
still weird to
prejudice.
judge.
You're prejudiced.
It's really weird to me. It's super weird to me to judge someone based off of like their complexion, like their skin.
I think a lot of it has to do with. I don't think anyone is ever born racist. It has to do with how you're brought up and how what you're exposed to. Like I feel like if you're not exposed to any, people besides your own race, obviously, like that's going to have some sort of effect on how you interact with another race.
But even then,
I don't think you're necessarily immediately going to go to race.
I think
that person sucks because they're black.
Yeah,
you might going to go to that immediately.
If you grew up in a white town where everyone's white and there's very few colored people, and then you finally meet a colored person, I don't think that you're going to have a negative reaction towards them. You might just say, "Oh, that's like interesting. Like I didn't know." Yeah. Like you're different.
And then I guess maybe off of that interaction would kind of mold how you feel. Like if you have a good interaction with that person, maybe you're more likely to become like, oh man, like that guy's awesome. But if maybe you have a shitty reaction, you're like, are they all like that? Or you're like, they're all like that, and immediately you start associating. And I think some of that maybe is human nature. Like you just immediately assume that everyone is fucking like that.
Oh yeah.
And whether that's not obviously a good characteristic, but I think a lot of people do that.
You can't help but you feel ill towards people who you've had really bad experiences.
But that doesn't mean that it's okay for you to feel like that towards everyone.
Exactly. 100%.
Because that's the problem, is like nobody personalizes it. Like it's like we were saying, there's some shitty people in every race, but you can't just assume that or make the statement that all people suck because one, because Steve is an asshole. Oh, Steve's an asshole, so everyone that looks like Steve is an asshole.
Everyone with the name Steve sucks.
Yeah, like that's just stupid. So
it is stupid.
But
I definitely think your parents have a huge influence on how
I would
you
say
treat.
That's like number one.
Yeah.
And then maybe how your interactions are with when you do. Or I think that's the thing too, is that I think there's probably a lot of people that have never met somebody of a different race. Like there's some small towns out there,
That's why I'm so glad. Like
that small town mentality,
Oh yeah, dude, it is, and that's why I'm like so blessed to be biracial and be half Samoan, because like not only is the Polynesian culture just a beautiful culture to be a part of, but like Kingston's gonna always be around like that culture, just be around that. You know what I mean?
He's always
that
gonna
fucking
have
vibe, bro.
He's always gonna have, and that's what I like living about living in the Bay Area. Is when I was living in the Bay Area, there's so much cultural diversity. Like there's a large black community, there's a large Asian community, there's a large, all these different races. There's a large, Latino community, like, and they're all living together. And like you can go, to the store and you're gonna see people from like 10 different countries. And
that's
they
what's
all
cool about
have
America,
man. And yeah, that's what's awesome. The problem is that like you don't that doesn't carry over to some of these other areas, and I think these other areas maybe get sheltered, and they begin to make assumptions based off what they see on social media.
Well, dude, like I moved a lot. I was always moving, and pretty much everywhere I lived, because it was usually all around like Portland or Vancouver, so all around Portland or Washington. Huge cultural diversity.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to school with Ukrainians and Polynesians and Russians and all these people of different races and ethnic backgrounds and all this stuff, and I was always around it.
Yeah.
And it's great because I'm biracial.
It's important.
And then when I moved here, there's like not as much.
Yeah, you're like the only.
I remember coming to high school and I was like, all you motherfuckers are white. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Like translucent white.
Like, it was seriously. Like, I'm
like
not
white.
I shit you. Like Romeos and athletic shorts, white, which I fucking hate that combo. It doesn't go good. But anyways, it was really weird to me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was so used to being around just like,
Yeah.
Colored people, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And being biracial, it's like it's cool, man. And then I come here, I'm like, oh motherfuckers, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Like when I was growing up, I went to a private school up until like 6th grade, and I was like, it was all white guys. Like it was all white kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to like a public school, but I went to a public school in like in Walnut Creek, and maybe we had like 3. I think you could count how many black people there were. Like it was like still fairly, insulated. But when I went to college, like I went to a college where I was like one of the only white guys,
I've seen your football pictures, bro.
So I was like one of the only white guys. When I was in Mississippi, I was one of the only white guys on the team. When I played in California too, most of the team was from like Richmond and Antioch, which are all like predominantly black areas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess they're not predominantly black, but they were all like, I guess you would consider them predominantly black areas, like East Oakland and all this. Yeah. And so, like I was exposed to all that, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. You know what I mean? Like it was just different cultures coming together. It was cool. And I think that's important. Like people don't get exposed to that. It's really important. Like you need that exposure because it helps, prevent that small town mentality,
Dude, and you know what, man? Like every culture is so damn beautiful in its own. Like, you know what I mean? Like Polynesian and Hispanic culture are very similar cultures that like big emphasis on family and friends and having a good time and like, treating each other like your brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? And it's shit like that.
Yeah,
that people need to be exposed to.
It's important because it's like you start. It makes you realize that like there's great people across all ethnicities, all backgrounds. Like it doesn't matter if they came from like the poorest neighborhood in like one of the most crime infested cities. Mm-hmm. They're still a good person. You know what I mean? Like they still the same fucking thing. Like they all bleed red. Mm-hmm. They all have family. Like they all want the best for themselves. They common goals. Like. So it's important. It's important to do that. I think I don't know. I still think it's better than it was.
It is better
even when I was in high school, even like 20 years ago.
Dude, it is better than it was, man. Well, like I said, like even 10 years ago for me, like people are so much better at accepting people for who they are. Yeah. Like sexual preference, all that stuff is so much more accepted, and it's just so cool to see.
I think social media has made that better.
I think so too.
Social media has its good and its bad. Mm-hmm. And I think social media has definitely made a good influence towards that. Like you see so many more interracial couples now. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. Like that's great. Mm-hmm. Like the numbers are just increasing. You see so many gay and lesbian and all across the board sexuality wise like couples. It's like cool. Like people are happy.
You can literally do whatever the fuck you want.
Be happy. Like
love whoever you want.
At the end of the day, that's all it is. Like everyone just wants to be happy. There are certain people that just want to be fucking negative and don't enjoy happiness. But
people.
And maybe they shouldn't have Twitter accounts. But
Yeah, everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be better. Everyone wants to do better. At least I would hope so. People I associate with want to do better.
Well, you should want to associate with only people that are
Mm-hmm.
genuine and working hard and caring and want the best for you and themselves. Like, you shouldn't be surrounding yourself with these with negative ass people.
Negative Nancy's, man.
Damn, man, this was a long episode. We've been talking.
Oh, yeah, huh?
We've been talking for a while. Yeah, it was a good one though. It was a little different episode for us.
It was. It's just.
But that's what's going on right now.
Man. I know it. I definitely know it weighs heavy on me because it just fucking. It's so negative. Everything going on.
Yeah.
And it's hard because like I want to say stuff so much on social media, but it's like, dude,
you gotta be careful.
I would rather speak about it on like a platform
than a tweet,
or a post where you can just misread it. This way, you hear tone, you see how we feel. You know what I mean? It's just so much.
There shouldn't be any misrepresentation of how we feel.
Yeah, but people.
I'm sure somebody will find something to be upset about. Like, I think that's just the nature of the beast.
Those guys.
It's just the nature of the beast, man. At the end of the day, though, just be a good fucking person.
Exactly.
Just be a good person. Treat others how you want to be treated.
It'll show.
Yeah.
It shows. People know.
And go spread some positivity today, because there's a lot of negativity going around on social media and in the world, and you combat that with some positivity.
Big facts, dude.
All right.
Big old facts.
I don't feel right plugging Blast House right now, so we're just going to call it like that. Stay savage, my friends.
Peace.